why they would tear all the fences down. That is so strange to me.
So, Dad, Grandpa, look this way and tell us how far the property goes.
There's a main canal right there where that ridge is, and that serves the whole valley. It's called the JH Canal, and we'll drive up, and they have a dam in the Mount Hero River up to the top of the property, where they take all the water out and disperse it. One canal goes along the hill over there, and another one is this one over here, the JH Canal, and our property went almost to the hill. There's just a little strip up there that it didn't include at that time.
How far this way, Grandpa?
It extends across the river, almost to that hill over there to the north. And there's a ford in the river there where in the spring the water would get pretty deep, and it was sort of pretty dangerous to cross. But usually you could get across there pretty good because it's wide and the water had to spread out and it wasn't as swift.
And so, what were the circumstances that you moved here to the next property?
An old rancher that owned the Fred Walters in Westfall, he came in here in the early days, and he was kind of a loner guy. But we later found out that he was involved in some serious stuff, and one person was killed, and they thought it was implied that he was actually responsible for that, but we never really knew for sure. We knew that there was some serious allegations in his past, but he was a good man basically, and he built up quite a ranch operation. He put those 3 or 4 ranches together. The old homesteaders, when they came in and developed these old ranches, there was a large company who owned a lot of land. There was 2 partners. One was named Miller, and then the other was named Lux, and it was called Pacific Livestock Company. And these old company ranches that they acquired and put together in the early days, they claimed they could drive from the Canadian border clear to Mexico and stay on their own property every night. And it included that wonderful strip down through the San Joaquin Valley in California, and they owned the vast amount of that, and they still own it today. It's still an operating company. And so those original ranches that we looked at yesterday were a part of those holdings. They were referred to as the company properties. And so they established that they only bought the best ranches. And so Fred Walters put those together, and he sold out. A guy came up the Westfall there driving a big Cadillac, and his name was Boardman. And he told everybody that he owned the Boardman Milk Company. They later found out the Cadillac was leased, and that he was a fraud, and Fred turned over all his cattle, and he ended up selling the cattle off the ranch and pocketed the money, and then he left. So it went on for several years, and Dad told Mr. Walters that he wanted to him to assure him that he would give him an opportunity to work out a deal for the property, and he later did.
So what happened to this property in the course of that transition?
Oh, there's some other interesting people that was involved. There was an old guy that lived in Baker that was a kind of a land magnate, and he always liked this property because it had 300 acres of real good land and almost a free water right out of the river. And he called him up. My memory is lacking at the moment. I'm trying to think of his name. Anyway, he bought this property. I think he we took the cash that he got out of this property. I think it was 140,000 that we got, and he took that most of that money to acquire the Westfall property, and Dad didn't want to sell the range right off of this property, and so we were able to transfer it to the Westfall property. It was only, I think, about 80 head. We were permitted to run 8 months out of the year on public lands. So the transfer of that cash allowed us to, there were a lot of people, neighbors told Dad he was crazy. He said, you got one of the best ranches in the valley and it's paid for. Why would you want to commit yourself to additional financial risks? But I came home from college, and we were going to Dixie College at the time, and Dad called up and said that he had the deal put together, and so we came home and worked our tails off for the next 10 years. And even though there was some heartbreaks along the way, we lived through it, and here we are today with memories of a great opportunity to exercise the American way of increasing your lot in dollars and cents, and in being able to be productive in our lives.